Hi, so for some of you who don't know who I am, I'm Dr. Myra Wilkinson, a licensed marriage and family therapist and a self-care advocate. One of my biggest passions is talking about and advocating for self-care, providing psychoeducation, and then kind of like helping others find out what self-care means to them. I started my journey in, I would say, maybe 2017. I started looking at self-care, and it was a buzzword back then. And I was in private practice and talking to my clients about self-care, asking them, what does self-care mean to you? Diverse population of clients, male, females, all different diversities. And the thing that struck me the most was that self-care was not something that they really could identify or really talk about with confidence. And it was like a question mark for a minute, like, what is self-care? What does that mean? And even though it was a buzzword, it was always talked about back then. It was talked about like going on vacations and doing things that was expensive, right? But what I noticed was that when we break self-care down to the minimum pieces of like what is self-care and how to get it personalized, I realized that individuals were not able to like conceptualize that or figure out how to apply it to their lives without making it really extravagant. So that's when I started my journey myself on self-care. The first thing I did was do a self-care workshop for women at night, once a week, 5 weeks. It was pretty cool. From that, I wrote a book called Start Each Day with a Smile, a 5-week journey to self-care, personal growth, and it was really good. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot from that experience on top of understanding what self-care meant to myself. So the next thing I did was I entered my PhD program in 2018, and I was all about self-care. I also now had access to research and different topics and different experts and networking opportunities as well. So throughout my PhD program, all my projects, all my assignments were about self-care. I switched that to self-care for graduate students, and then I switched it to self-care for Black women in graduate programs, and that was my dissertation. So all that to say, and then I do public speaking. I have my second book that I have not released yet on self-care, different workshops, different speaking events, and then when I do professional conferences, usually my presentations are about self-care as well. So all that to say, since 2017, I have been researching, studying, talking about, providing psychoeducation about self-care, living, breathing, and eating self-care. My self-care journey has changed over the last, 8 years. 8 years, my self-care journey has really changed. It looks so different than when I started in 2017. From doing podcasts to magazines, like different things about self-care and redefining it. What I noticed is that self-care looks different for everyone, of course, but also in different stages of life, self-care also changes too. It changes with what you need in the moment, and that's okay. And for me, it has been a pleasure and an honor to talk about self-care, advocate for self-care, and talk about what that looks like, because there's so many dimensions of self-care. So if you're following me, thank you. Continue to follow me, engage in my material and content. And if you are new to this, follow me. I'm going to talk about things that I talked about before, maybe with a different spin on it, because the self-care is still the same thing, right? We look at boundaries, we look at self-love, we look at self-esteem, we look at personal growth, we look at our history, we look at trauma. Like, all these things help us define what self-care looks like for us. So my goal is to redefine self-care for you, give you more things to look at, give you more things to chew on as it relates to your own self-care journey, and make this fun. Now, as I mentioned in the previous videos, I am not a content creator for the most part. I like to create content and share it, but as far as like social media and being consistent with that, I don't do it, because I too like to practice my self-care. And if creating videos or getting material out stresses me out too much, or I overthink it, I shut on down and I start to practice my own self-care to protect my peace. So my goal is to provide the education on a consistent basis, but also making sure that I practice what I preach. Like, I don't want to give you stuff that is half doing it, like I half did it because I really didn't feel like doing it or my heart wasn't in it. And I just want to make sure that what I give is good, but also helpful. But I also want to make sure that I am modeling what I'm talking about. So if I go absent, don't worry about it. I'm probably just practicing some self-care and maintaining my peace. So I look forward to engaging with you guys, but just wanted to give you an updated video of who I am, what I'll be doing, and hope that the rest of this year of 2025, we get some really good self-care strategies going. We're having healthier conversations about self-care. I saw that some people commented about boundaries. We'll talk about some boundaries. We'll talk about what that looks like holistically in a wellness perspective, what self-care looks like, and just hoping to build a community where we're all just helping each other manage day-to-day things and being encouraging and motivating. All right, see you guys soon.